Laser in klasie, Angel in spacie. 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 Laser in Klasse, Anger in Space, 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 Lasse in Klasse, Anger in Space, Lasse in Klasse, Anger in Space.
Unmute everyone. How do I mute everyone?
Oh, here we go with the claps. Hey, let's go, let's go. We're back with our second day of the hackathon. How is everyone? I know you've all been working super hard last night and this morning as well. So amazing. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you're at. Very happy to kickstart day 2 of the hackathon. So much has happened yesterday, so I can only imagine what we will come up with today. We will kick off straight away. We actually have Arthur Braitman, which has joined us today. He's co-founder of Tezos and also council member of Tezos Foundation, who are the main sponsors of this hackathon. So I will pass it on to him and yeah, enjoy it. He will basically do 20 minutes of presentation, and then we will have 10 minutes for questions. So get your questions ready. Hey, Arthur. Don't think we can hear you.
because I can launch into it. I'm hearing a lot of clamor and claps, which is great, but for the presentation, it's important that the sound works. Okay, all right. So yeah, so I'm going to. Am I still there? But now it disappeared from the screen. Oh, there I am. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about the Tezos Foundation. I am going to be talking a bit about the some of the technical roadmaps for Tezos as a protocol, and last I'm going to take some questions. Okay, so let's start with the Tezos Foundation. The Tezos Foundation is a nonprofit located in Switzerland. It was formed in 2017. It had a long and partially checkered history, but at the end of the day, this nonprofit exists to basically promote the Tezos ecosystem. And the way it does so is primarily through the means of grants. And so these grants can go to development teams. So of course, there's a large development team in Paris known as Nomadic Labs, who work on the protocol, but they're not the only people working on the protocol. There are teams like Marigold, for example, which is kind of distributed around the world. I think they have people in Taiwan and in France, and I don't even know. You had to ask them, but it's everywhere around the world. There's a team called Lambda in Japan, so it really truly is international. There are grants going to developers for tools who are in Russia, in Brazil. Truly, it's all over the place. It also provide grants for research. So there are research centers. There have been some in France, some in Spain, and there have been some partnership with universities as well in East Asia. So it does a lot of these things. It also takes some initiatives of its own. And so, there are certain programs that it will try to set up or try to foster. But I will say that what has been the most effective in the history of the foundation has been identifying really, really good and really strong projects from the Tezos community and helping those grow. So if you've hacked around Tezos, you've probably come across Better Call Dev, which is a block explorer, and that's, I think, one of the great success story in terms of grants for the tooling. There was this team in Russia. They started building Python libraries, and then they started building tools for delegators and bakers, and then and they kept growing and producing awesome content. And so they've been grantees of the Tezos Foundation for a couple of years, and they keep kicking ass and doing great things. And obviously, I think hicetnunc started out, I think, of a hackathon in Brazil and became this huge community. And from the standpoint of the Tezos Foundation, supporting this kind of grassroots efforts from the community is obviously the thing that works the best. If we want Tezos to be a movement, and you cannot think of Tezos as a network, as a company, because if you do that, it will never really amount to much. In order to be big, in order to be transformative for the world, it has to be a movement. And for being a movement, you want to empower the people who are actually taking the charge of that movement. And I think that a community like hicetnunc is exactly that. You mentioned that the Tezos Foundation was a larger sponsor of this event. I don't think of it that way, because I saw this event come in, and there were hundreds of people joining, and I think you guys are the main sponsor of the event. And it's more of a question of like, wow, you're all doing this thing, which is completely awesome, and we really want to be able to help that. So congratulations on this hackathon. Congratulations on the awesome community that has been built around hicetnunc in particular. It means a lot to me, because it's not just the fact that it's built on Tezos, but I will say that a lot of the art that has been created on hicetnunc, not exclusively, but a lot of it came from the AI art and generative art, and it's a field I've been tremendously interested in myself on a personal level. So it's delightful. I see some of my favorite artists actually coming and minting on hicetnunc. So it's just it's been wonderful from this perspective. So that's that's what we're trying to do at with the Tezos Foundation. We don't want to be leading Tezos. We don't want to be setting the direction. We want to be empowering everyone who comes in and who creates great stuff and helps them do even more. So that's for the Tezos Foundation. I'm sure there'll be some question, but I'll raise that after. And now let me talk a little bit about technology, because I am a technologist at heart. I now, for the past couple months, just have sat on the council of the Tezos Foundation. But first and foremost, by training, I'm a technologist, and this is really very much how I think about what I can bring to the project is helping it get better and better from a technical standpoint. I remember very early on the project, a lot of people were asking, "Oh, what's the roadmap for Tezos? What's the roadmap? What's the roadmap?" And I used to say, well, they are not a single roadmap. They are roadmaps, because it's not like there's one body that can say, "Oh, this is what we're going to do. At first, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that, and then we're going to do that." Every change that you make to the protocol in Tezos, it has to be submitted to the protocol. It has to be voted upon. It has to be approved. And so in some sense, you cannot have one canonical roadmap. Now, that being said, the teams that work on the core protocol, there's a ton of cooperation that goes, and there's a ton of collaboration. And so if I had to discern the general direction, I think one thing which is very much of importance is the ability to scale and the ability to have higher throughput. So one of the many reasons for the success of hicetnunc has been that the fees that allow artists to create and put their art on a chain have been reasonable and low. You're not paying hundreds of dollars to pay a fee, and I think it's a lot more than fees, because there's a bunch of chains which offer low fees and are not that interesting. But we want to keep the fees low. We don't want to be a victim of our own success, where somehow you start having tons of things happening on the Tezos chain. If you follow the stats, the number of smart contract calls tripled for a few months in a row, and I think the volume from hicetnunc was the main chunk of that. So we don't want to be a victim of our own success. We want to keep the fees low. So how do we scale through that? And the way I look at it is essentially there's going fast and there's scaling. So going fast means that you're going to optimize your code. You're going to make sure that when you write things to the disk, you write as little as you need to, that you're not making any redundant reads on your disk. You're going to make sure that your network layer is optimized, that you don't download a transaction twice. So it's all of these little optimizations that you can do at the level of the protocol, so that you can process more transactions per second. It's just, direct optimization. And that has been a focus of some of the past release and some of the upcoming release. So whether it was Edo, Florence, or Granada, you've seen a lot of improvements in the interpreter, the Nicholson interpreter, so that we can execute more transactions per second, more contracts per second. The reason this is possible is twofold. One is that when the Tezos network launched, a lot of the parameters were very conservative. The focus was on making sure that the network was working and it was live, and the contracts were not, blowing up or hacked or anything like that. And then once there was enough data to say yes, those conservative parameters are sane, now we can loosen them. So it's been a loosening of those parameters as we can become more comfortable with how the network is working, but also re-implementation. So a lot of the implementation of the virtual machine to execute contracts on Tezos has been overhauled. And a lot of that has been the work of one extremely talented programmer. Of course, it's an entire team, but I will say that the work of Jan Regis Yanas at Nomadic Labs has been tremendously impactful in increasing the number of transactions in these contracts. So that's going fast. There's also the Tarides team working on a storage layer, which is probably the next bottleneck in terms of executing transaction. Then there's scaling. And scaling is different from going fast. Now, they both let you go fast, but the idea of scaling is that the more computers you have on the network, the faster you want to go. If you look at Tezos today, there's a bit over 400 bakers, and they're all running the exact same calculation. And that doesn't consume a whole lot of energy, because some of these are running on Raspberry Pis. So 400 computers, you compare that to mining, that's very, very little. But it would be great if tomorrow we had 800 bakers or 1,600 bakers, if the network could go faster. If the more bakers you add, the faster your network can go. And that is scaling. And it's very different from going fast. It's not about optimizing. It's by saying the bigger we are, the more we can do. And if you think about it, most things in life, a lot of things in life scale. For example, if you're in a city and you have fires and you need a fire brigade, well, if you have twice as many firemen and twice as many fire truck, you can take care of twice as many fires. So that's great. That scales. It's not the case with blockchain. They don't really scale. You add more validators, you get more security. Maybe you get more decentralization. You don't get more throughput, and that is that's very annoying. And there's many techniques which have been described in the past for scaling. Some of these have been referred to as sharding. Some of these had to do with so-called layer 2. And for a long time, I will say, in this industry, there was not a very, very clear idea on how to do this securely. I wrote a blog post in early 2017 when I was talking about the ways that Tezos would scale and contrasting with the approach that we're taking for Ethereum, for example, which has been talking about sharding for a very long time. And the approach that I was describing at the time has a bit evolved, and a lot of people refer to it today as a zero knowledge rollup. The idea is that with zero knowledge computation, you can make a whole lot of computation off the chain on one computer, and then you can prove to everyone that the computation is correct. So the nice thing here is that instead of having everyone always redo the same computation, you have one person do the computation, and then everyone verify it. Now that's a way to scale it, because it gets a lot. It's a lot faster to verify the computation than to actually do the computation. That's the magic of the zero knowledge. There's new techniques which have been developed for doing this. So optimistic rollups are another approach to this, but it's the same principle. Instead of having everyone do all the calculation, you have one node do all the calculation, and then everyone becomes convinced, either through a cryptographic proof or through an economic game, that the calculation that they did is correct. So that is a very, very interesting way to scale. And the Marigold team that I was mentioning earlier has been working on the development for optimistic rollups on a Tezos chain. One of the main benefits we have with Tezos is the ability to modify the protocol. Because we can modify the protocol, we have this ability of really making it a first-class citizen on the protocol. We have this ability of saying, hey, this is really going to be part of the protocol. And that way we don't have to code around an existing structure, which can make it a lot less efficient and a lot more complicated to deploy. So I think we could be deploying those optimistic rollups pretty quickly. And I think that's a very, very powerful way to scale. The way to think about it is that once you start doing this, you're no longer doing all the computation on the chain. You no longer have everyone compute everything. The one thing you still have to do is that everyone still has to download everything. So everyone still has to download all the transaction, download all the information. But already you've alleviated your computing requirement, and that's great. You know, if you look at bandwidth, for example, now bandwidth is not distributed very equally in the world. If you go into a major wealthy metropolis, you can get maybe a gigabyte connection, and in some places, it's hard to even get dial-up. So there has to be a bit of a technological choice to make here. What is the lowest level of bandwidth that is necessary for participating in a network? If you get even low level of broadbands, things like 10 megabit per second, 5 megabit per second, which is not available everywhere, but it's still very, very widespread. Sufficiently widespread that you can have a lot of distribution in most places in the world. You get on the order of hundreds of thousands of transactions per second just by having this low-level broadband, maybe DSL. Not dial-up, but DSL will get you very, very far. If you want to go even beyond that, then you have sharding techniques for sharding the data availability, making sure that different people download different pieces. So all of these things pretty much can go together. And the nice thing is that you start with something simple, like a roll-up, and then you add simple things like data availability committees, where you can elect different bakers to make sure that only they are going to download the data that's needed. You put all of this together, and you have a roadmap to something like sharding, which is incremental. In some sense, at every step of the way, you get something a little better, you get something with a little more throughput, with a little more security, and you can go there. So the big question is not how to do it. I think we know how to do it. In terms of research, I think it's fairly well understood. It's not how to upgrade the protocol. We know how to upgrade the protocol. It's doing it in a good timeline and in a safe timeline. It's a lot easier to write code that's not running in a production system than modifying a live and working production system like Tezos. And that's what I think we're fortunate to have the upgrade mechanism. long story short, I think there's super exciting things to be done on the core protocol development side, and that is going to support the ecosystems that's really buzzing right now around NFTs, around art, around also DeFi applications, for instance, making sure that we can keep having low fees for everyone on the chain through scaling. There's other thing that I'd like to talk about. I want to reserve some time for questions, but I want to say one thing. The tooling in Tezos is paramount. And, you're all, of course, going to see that because you're all hacking around the protocol. So I'm sure all weekends you've been using libraries like Taquito, for example, talking to different nodes, perhaps writing smart contracts with SmartPy or Lego. Developing really great tools for this language, I think, can get us very far. And it's historically one of the places where there's been underinvestment. We take it for granted with most programming languages that, of course, there's going to be an REPL, and of course, there's going to be a debugger, and of course, there's going to be great ID integration. But we need to get that. Like, we need to get really good debuggers for programming languages for smart contract in Tezos. There's also ideas coming from research which have not really penetrated the mainstream of programming languages. And one of these, of course, is formal verification, but there's like a lot more that people don't really talk about. One I'm super excited, for example, is mutation testing. Mutation testing, you take your smart contract, you randomly modify it, and then you see if you break some test. And if you don't break some test, if you break your smart contract but you don't break your test, then your tests are not testing something important. Building things into the tooling, I think, super important for helping people write safe smart contracts. All right, so it's about 20 minutes, and I want to keep 10 minutes for asking questions. I'm on a phone. I see there's a chat window where people are asking text questions. Unfortunately, it's too small for me to read. So if someone can read me the questions directly, and I can answer. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Arthur? No, maybe not. No, I know you guys can, but I don't think Arthur can.
I can hear you, but I cannot read the questions in text. So,
Okay,
Miguel,
great.
if you tell me the questions, I should be able.
Yeah. So the first question is from MKS. Is Tezos Homebase working under Florence upgrade? Have tried to set up a treasury and governance DAO on the testnet during the hackathon and have been unable to launch a testnet DAO.
So I have not been involved in the development of Homebase. The main people behind this, I think the people who might know the most about this are Michael Klein at TQ, Jacob Arluck at TQ, maybe Rocco from Spruce Identity would know the best about this.
We actually had Michael yesterday, so maybe it's something that we can refer back to him. So we have another question from Mario Klingerman. Could you explain in a simple way why backtracking is happening?
Yes. So the problem when you make a transaction on Tezos, you have to guess two parameters. One is how many fees you're going to be paying for the gas, and the other one is the amount of storage limits you're going to put. So let's say that you run a transaction. It's going to consume a certain amount of gas. Can you guys hear me okay? Because I'm in a bit of a loud place. Okay, all right, great. So I can simulate a transaction and I can say, okay, it's going to use this much gas. So I set a gas limit and I say, I promise to the baker that my transaction is not going to take that much gas. And based on that promise, the bakers can decide if they want to include this transaction or not include this transaction. They will look at it and they will say, oh, Rail, I'm getting this many fees for this much transaction. I can include it. The other one is the storage limits. So in Ethereum, for example, when you add more storage to the chain, they charge you based on the gas. So they're saying, well, adding storage to the chain is going to cost a lot of gas, so we'll charge you based on that. But that creates a weird situation where when no one is using it, you have an interest in bloating the chain and then in reducing it later on. And you call what is called a gas token. So that doesn't exist in Tezos, but you have to guess. So the reason transactions are backwards could be twofold. One is that you get the gas fee wrong. you say, oh, I thought my transaction was going to take this much gas, but in reality, it took more gas than this. When I simulated it, it had a certain value, and then when I executed, it had a much, much higher value because something changed in between. The other way it could happen is that you thought your transaction was only going to add a few bytes, but because something changed, it added a lot more bytes. So you simulate the transaction and the limits look okay, but then you send it and the limits are wrong, and that will cause the transaction to backtrack. The way we can solve this is you need to have smarter logic on the side of the dApp. Instead of just trusting the node to execute, you need to look at the smart contract and say, in the worst case scenario, I am going to add 20 bytes. And in the worst case scenario, I am going to consume this much gas. So this is the limit I'm going to set in my transaction for the storage and for the gas. And by the way, so for the gas, you're going to consume your own limits. So you have to be a little careful about your gas limit, because if you set it too high, you're going to pay a higher fee than you need to. That's not the case for storage. For storage, even if you set a very high limit, you will only pay what you use. So a good solution is to set a high limit for storage, because it's very unlikely you will need it, and you will only pay what you use. The limit for the storage only exists so that if you send a transaction, you don't want a bad surprise. You don't want people to say, oh, well, your transaction added a gigabyte to the chain. Well, of course, not a gigabyte, but your transaction added a kilobyte to the chain, so now we're going to charge you that much. You want to say, wait a second, my transaction doesn't cost that much. So that requires changes in the tooling, because right now, through Taquito and through Beacon, we don't have a good way for the dApp to communicate with the wallet what limit it should be setting.
Thank you. We have another question, which I think is has got a lot of votes, and it's any updates on OpenSea moving to Tezos?
So I talked to the OpenSea team, and I think, yeah, adding Tezos. Yeah, I'm a little peeved about that. So we talked to OpenSea, and we talked to OpenSea, I think. We started talking to OpenSea back in December. We started inking a deal, and the agreement was made very early on, but the deal was like finalized, I think, in maybe March. And in a timeline, they were supposed to support viewing Tezos NFT by the end of March, and then support trading Tezos NFT by the end of April. And I talked to them, I think, in mid-April, and I said, well, you missed the deadline for March. You're about to miss the deadline for April. What's going on? And they said, oh, well, we've been very busy because there's been such a boom in NFTs. And we had promised Maddox that we would do their integration first. And so we haven't really started. And then they said, well, you said you were going to do it. And they said, well, and they raised a bunch of money in between. Well, we could give the grant back if you want. And they said, no, it's not about the money. It's about, like, you guys said you were going to do it. You promised it. Like, you should do it. So, I don't know when they're going to do it. I think that, with all the craziness around, like, calming down a little bit, I think they might do it a little faster. But honestly, like, I'm glad to see hicathon really, like, running circles around around OpenSea. I mean, if they integrate it, that's great. I think there should be an open ecosystem, right? And if you create an NFT on one platform, buy it on one platform, there should be a secondary platform where you can sell it, or other places where you can move it. The whole point of building this thing on blockchain is that they can interoperate, right? You're not stuck with just one website. You can put it everywhere. So I still want OpenSea to integrate, but I think there's also an opportunity for Tezos native projects to basically steal their lunch, and so I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you. A couple of questions. So one of it is, what about accessing and cross-matching data on the Tezos chain? Could we imagine BCD or other services evolving in a public GraphQL service for all contexts or token data? Being able to cross-match different data from the blockchain in a single service could save a lot of energy as a single service instead of many services. Servers.
Yeah, so the right person to I don't know if they're part of this hackathon, but Andrew Policek at Agile Venture, there's the people who build TezGraph, which is a GraphQL front end for Tezos, and they're actually building a GraphQL query for the Tezos node and trying to basically streamline a little bit the indexing and how we can communicate between them. So I think it'd be have a smarter answer than me on this topic, because it's something he's been super passionate about. It's also a product that the Tezos Foundation is supporting. and there's been a tremendous amount of talk between the different indexers about how to best index the data coming from all of these contracts. And I'll be honest, there's like a weekly or bi-weekly call between different indexer teams, and I'm on this call, but mostly I'm listening in and I'm letting everyone talk because they're all coordinating and like trying to do this awesome indexing stuff. And at some point, I'm like, okay, that sounds great. Where are we? Okay. So I don't know how much value I add to this call at this point. I'm just like, I just know it's important to do it, and I'm glad to see it's happening.
Amazing. I think one question is, how does it make you feel to see that people are coming together and forming new communities around your brainchild?
I mean, that's the best part of it. Like, they are parts about this that, they're obviously part of things that suck, but like the very, very, very best part of all this is this, like, it's seeing people come in and build something. That definitely is the most rewarding part of it. Because you feel you're making you feel like you're making a change, and you're like, you have impact. That's awesome.
Any last questions? We have a couple of minutes. I think there was a question about that I might have missed around the roadmap for Tezos for the next few years. I don't know if you can share anything on that.
So I've been talking about like the roadmap for scaling, and I hope what I talked about is not the roadmap for the next few years. Honestly, I hope what I talked about is the roadmap for the next year. Like, I want to get I want to get there fast, because if we have to, and it's progressive, right? It's not like we have to do this entire like complete rewrite of the chain before we can get benefit. I think we can start getting like some throughput benefit very, very early, but I think we got to do it fast. And then after that, who knows? There's more experimental stuff that I kind of like think about for Tezos, and I've been talking about how to have future key on the chain, for example, how to have replace gas with a concept that the smart contracts could prove bound on their execution time. So there's all like these ideas which kind of like are out there. And I've written about this. If you check my blog, I've written a few on a few of these ideas for Tezos. But like right now, the priority is like, let's scale, because if hicetnunc keeps tripling the amount of transaction on the chain every month, we really need to do this quickly. But I think we have the tools to and the know-how to do that. So that's great, and it's a very exciting challenge.
Cool. So I think obviously the time is up. There's a couple of questions or general thoughts maybe around like Tezos Foundation supporting hackathon moving forward. I think as you mentioned, it's a community effort. Like, you are supporting this hackathon, but I don't know if you want to add anything around that as a closing remark.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, there are different ways I think we can support hicetnunc. The indirect way is first of all, is like making sure that there's a good environment. Making sure the chain is fast. The chain can scale in number of transactions. That there are good libraries available, and so in general, funding the ecosystem so that building is possible. It's basic, but like that's the first thing. On a more direct front, I think sponsoring this kind of events is wonderful, and I hope to see more hackathon. Like, one of the things I love about the hicetnunc community is how it's really, really made by builders, and it's very, very participatory. And so being able to preserve that spirit, and I think funding hackathon is a great way to preserve that spirit. So I really like this. I really like this model. But anything you have in mind, we just generally want to be helpful, while also be respectful of the identity of hicetnunc. It is its own project. We want to be able to support it, but we also want it to fly with its wings and show everyone what it can do.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We'll let you go and enjoy your Sunday. But thanks a lot for joining. Really, really appreciate it. Everybody's clapping.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
wow, I love this clapping picture. It's very.
Thanks a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, and thank you so much to the organizer, and thank you so much to the participants for coming and doing and making hicetnunc even more awesome. All right. Cheers, everyone. Bye bye.
Cheers. Thank you. Can you still hear me? All right. Okay. So I will pass it on to Luca, who will give you an update on the fun part of the hackathon and the winners of the challenge that we had yesterday. So Luca, you are up on stage.
Hi, everyone. So, first of all, the winners of yesterday. The team, some of you know, I'm not sure if everyone could see, but it was the wildlife on planet Hic. And then the winners were Ducking Whimsy, Lupimon, and Schneeple Art. So these three, congratulations to all of them. But in general, congratulations to everyone who was able to join it, because you guys gave a really hard time for the jury to choose, because all the artworks are amazing in there. And yes, more fun games today, actually. I'm kicking off the first challenge of the day. So our second quick render challenge, and the theme is random encounters. So you guys have 2 hours, 2.5 hours to make it. I will post all the details and the rules again on Twitter. Make sure. Free minting for everybody. Yeah, that's true also. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for organizing all of the fun side to the hackathon. And yeah, join. So I am passing it on to James, who will do a quick update on the donations and the art side of things, so all of the swapping. So James, you are up.
Hey, I don't know whether you guys can hear me. Basically, the update is this. We swapped all the art. It has all been swapped. There's a few little tiny strays to clean up, but we're done. And one thing that we realized, which we should have known, but we just, we're flying by the seat of our pants, is that as soon as art is swapped on the Hickathon wallet, it no longer shows up in the collection because it's now in the hicetnunc escrow. So half the whole reason for donating, you donate because you want to raise money for hicetnunc. You also donate presumably because you want to be part of it and get some exposure and be part of the donation gang. And so that's not really happening as well as we would have liked because it's not showing up in the collection. So we're working on that. We're aware of that, and stay tuned. We're going to come up with a solution to that. So yeah, thank you guys. Thanks everybody so much for donating. We're yeah, it's fantastic. Mwah. Bye.
Thank you, James, and Undeseen, and Patrick, actually, who are all, our swapping heroes. A lot of heavy lifting there. So thank you. Okay, let's move on. So we have the presentations from of the updates of the working groups. As we mentioned in the general chat, we are keeping it short and sweet because we just want to really start working back on our working groups and making sure that, we have enough time. So first one will be 2 minutes, minimal galleries for exhibitions, and order and chaos. You are up. Go for it.
Hello. So I nearly didn't join the hackathon, actually. I happened to come across a chat message yesterday for a call out for devs, and stumbled upon the 7.2 room. And it just so happened they were discussing creating a radio app for hicetnunc. And I just so happened I'd actually written one a little while ago for a community radio station. So I kind of pulled that out, and we went from there. So we now have, which I don't know how to get a slide up here. So we've now created a little, here we go. Okay, can someone help me out here? I don't know.
You just need to share your screen.
Oh, okay.
There's a top left menu.
What do we want to do here? This one. Okay, so we have an audio player. You can enter a wallet ID, hit play, and run through your tracks. I don't know if you'll be able to hear that, but there we are. And these are filtered by creation and collections, or all. And that's us. That's that's where we're at. Where are we? So there we go. And yeah, and a wallet ID, and away you go. There we go. So yeah, that's us.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. That was super cool. So, and also very quick. Well done. 8.1 is next, and we have Michael. Hello. You are up, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Michael M. 8.1 people, are we here? We can't hear you, Michael. Okay, Michael, are you there? If you are, can you post on the chat or just tell us? If not, we'll just move on to the next one and we'll go back to 8.1. So the next one is 2.3, optimizing the social media aspect of URLs. And we have Renee. Oh, Renee? Yes, you're up. Okay, go for it.
Unmute works better. Hi, everybody. I'm Renee. I'm not a dev. I'm in the 2.3 work group. The topic is optimizing the social media aspect of the URLs. Can I somehow screen share here?
Yes, top menu on your right. There's a small monitor where you can add your screen share.
I don't see the monitor.
Do you see the top menu?
Yeah, sorry.
There's a small speaker, and just right next to it, there's a small monitor.
No, I don't see that.
You can't. Oh, hang on. Let me fix that. Where are you? Okay. Now I get it. You're gonna be up. Just a second. Up. Save. And you're good to go. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Ah, it's gone. Here. Okay, oops. Okay, the topic is optimizing the social media aspect of the URLs. And basically what we did is adding a share button to the objects. Usually it looks like this. Can you all see my screen? Oh, damn.
We're actually seeing your screen.
Okay. Usually, sorry for the hassle. Usually, it looks like this. We did a demo already. So you have this little share button here beside the object ID. You copy and paste that. And as everybody know, normally you go on the top and you copy the browser and you want to share it on Twitter, then it looks like this. Yeah. So if you do it now, we do it like this. We copy the link beside the object ID and we just put it here, and you see all the metadata. You see the preview, the picture, and you see basically everything. And so this actually helps with the user experience, we guess. Yeah. So it's a very simple thing, but it helps a lot. Right now, it's on relying on a third party. What is not the future, but this is was the shortest and fastest way to do it. The goal is to make this as a real share button in the future, where you can directly share it on your Twitter, and everything should be on site in the future. Yeah. But that was a workaround and the shortest way. I'm done speaking.
Perfect. So the next one, sorry, you caught me unprepared. I was looking at the Discord. Categories and sorting 1.1, and we have Hooger Ward. Hooger Ward, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Let me see if I can turn everything on. Oh no. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect, perfect. Yes, so we are indeed a working group on working on categories and sorting, and we've...
No, hang on. It's the wrong screen, actually. Rene, can you stop the screen share?
Yep.
And now you can share your screen.
Yep, yeah. Let me just... Oh shit, I need to reopen Google Chrome. I'll be back in a second. Yes, there we are. All right, yeah, so we've been working on categories and sorting. Okay, I need to open up my links again. Apologies. One more second. Yes, there we go. And we've refined our our story to 3 different approaches to introducing sorting and some categories. So we have the tabs approach here, where we can select different categories by tabs, and then click a sorting option here. We have another variation here with drop downs, and then we have another variation with lists here. And we've prototyped the first 2, and I can give a quick demo of those 2. So here we have a demo where we can see the primary category, which is then objects that are still being available directly by the artists themselves. And then the secondary category is objects that are available in the secondary market. And then our second demo here, and we have these as demos as well for people to test it, is sorting. So here we have a drop-down that we can select, okay, I want to see the newest. This is a nice profile to demo this or test this, because it's all numbered works here. If you click on oldest first, then it goes to oldest. We also have the randomize function, which if you select it, it randomizes the works here. Yeah, so we've been prototyping these, and now we're actually gathering feedback and comments to see which approach to take. If it should be like these kind of drop-down UIs, or do we want to have tabs or different variations? So I'm hoping Loopy will be able to drop a link in the chat where we can further gather your comments and compile the feedback. Yeah, that's it. Apologies for the...
Sorry, I was on mute, guys. Oh, Shaman, splitting sales collaborations made easy. Go for it.
I don't see myself. Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, so Discord. Since the previous presentation, I have some update to you. This is the project status. We are still working on the front end. We have a new developer, which is Stevie. He's a front-end developer and he's bringing a lot to the project. So everything is working except the front. We are simulating the front by going to the Better Call Dev website. So actually we can create the contract. And when the front is done, and we hope to finish that quickly, we have everything working. To test the system, we created, minted, and swapped this NFT, which is the first shared NFT in history. You can see that it's split in 6 parts because we are us 5 and the hackathon is receiving 1/6 of every sale from this NFT. So just go buy it. I suggest. Wait, I will give you the URL. Okay, Michael, you can post it. So we have this NFT, we have the split, and this video, I hope you can see it. It's how the front end is going to work. You will be able to copy and paste addresses, and everything is going to be created. Okay, so yeah. You copy your addresses, you can see that. Then you go back there, you paste, and everybody is there with an auto split percentage that you can, of course, change. So that's the interface. I guess that's it. I can show you that quickly for the last seconds. You can see the green is the sale and the red is the split with the hackathon there. That's it, guys. Thank you.
Okay, so we have the metaverse and Jung Matuzalan. Sorry if I'm not saying this right. You're up.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you see me? Yeah, okay, and I don't see the top right, for real. Yeah, here. This one. So, first thing first. So we worked a lot on the design and the UI and the UX of this whole new world of the website. So you can check it. I paste you the link. You can check the Figma here. It's still a work in progress. I'm working sometimes in the dark mode, sometimes in the day mode. So yeah, sorry. So the idea here. The idea here is to have the hub. This is the base where you stay. So we have different design proposition. We still need to refine the real design and things like that, but we really want to keep it simple as hicetnunc. And as we say yesterday, we really want people to engage and to create for the community. So the base is really basic. We like the randomness. We like the non ranking thing of hicetnunc. And so yeah, this is the hub, and from this, so these numbers, if you click on them, normally you go either to the world builder, to the avatar builder. So everything is really basic. We give you a blank slate that you start with, and everyone can put what they want to put inside. We will have some basics assets.
we still need to find how we want to have those basics assets, but we were thinking about maybe a community donation of basics assets for everyone, and then artists could create their own assets to sell, either for the world or either for the avatar too, to make wigs, to make garments, to make shoes, to make jewelry, you name it, or even accessories that could interact with the metaverse. So here is a little of how you get in the builder. It's just explanation how it works. It will work really simply like Blender or Cinema 4D. This is Gumball. This is like where you just scale, rotate, move, things like that. And then you can have your own bibliothèque, upload GLTF personally, things like that if you want to see. And just you can have a look here too in our drive. I just show you it. This is the first preview video of how you navigate inside. This is still laggy because this is live in Blender. Yes, and we are now building the world in A-frame. So this is still the beginning, but if there are some developers that want to contribute and to continue, because I think we will not finish it in this weekend, because this is really, really big. But personally, and other member of the team are really engaged in this and want to continue. So if people want to really join the Discord 6.1. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So guys, if anybody wants to join, the call is for 6.2 to join their team. We have 9.4 next, Clear Up UX with Raf. 6.1, sorry.
Hello. Yes. And we still have the same issue with the sharing, right? This is going to be interesting.
It should be fixed.
What?
It should be fixed.
And I should.
You see this?
Okay, share. Yeah. Good. Wonderful. Thank you. Yes. So we have a brand new and very not ready prototype to show you of the UX redesign. So, well, you remember clean grid with the toggle to show more info. Right now, artwork, title, number, price, and editions. Alignment is out of whack, but you get it. We've had some discussions about numbering, what kind of info we should show. Lots of debate going on. So this would be kind of a landing page. And then the object page has gotten a lot of more work since yesterday. We have our collect button and the information. A lot better. And one detail that was interesting is we discussed a lot that swap and burn, the vocabulary is a little unclear for people, and burn is also scary. So we have manage object, that would be a tab that has both. So let me see, where can I go? And then a profile page is not that much different from what we have, just a little bit cleaned up. Same thing, you could hide the info. And we're still having some discussions about the follow versus follow is a bit too social media-y and cloud-based, but what would be the vocabulary? If some people have ideas on, is it you bookmark someone, is it you add it to your list or whatever, but we need something simple, maybe one word. That's about it. If it's your profile, you can edit it. So it would be, well, you would go to the Google form, but yeah, eventually. And I think that's mostly it. We have some mobile layouts as well, and everything else is ongoing. I forgot the menu, but yeah. There you go.
Great. Okay, so we have how to make tools for hicetnunc with CRCDNG.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to share the screen as well.
Raf, could you stop the screen sharing, please?
Okay. So our group, we have observed an incredible amount of people who have started building tools and apps for hicetnunc. Beside the official website, there's a whole ecosystem. And so we decided as our demo and as our effort to create something sustainable. So we created a working group, self-organizing, decentralized working autonomous organization, also called a WOW, that wants to help and foster the ecosystem of documentation of code and external apps for hicetnunc. We worked on documenting a set of principles, a principle of curation that we help developers to make high-quality tools that also are in the spirit of hicetnunc. At the same time, we want to empower the widest range of diversity possible, so everyone should be able to make a tool that interacts with the art on hicetnunc. There could be beginners, there could be professionals, and everyone. We want to provide quality docs and tutorials, and we want to reach out to the existing developers who already have made tools to help them, to support them, ask them if they need help in the documentation, also the documentation of the API itself. We have this wonderful symbol by Boris that we love and that we embrace as the symbol for our efforts. And in the end, we want to help building a community through events and providing resources, building the DAO, building the metaverse, building good code, and have fun. Thank you.
Wow, this is really, wow, I love it. Okay, and Rafael is also saying, yay. I think he really, I know he really also wanted to centralize all of this. Well, not centralize, but like have a place where we can share more tools and stuff. So great. Next, we have make galleries and collections available to everyone with Alia K and Trasmano.
Hi everyone. There we go.
Yeah. Hi everyone. Let me share. Okay, so we were working with the galleries. What we were doing, we were polishing our proposal. We merged everything into Figma. We were taking a look at what other groups were doing. So we applied many of the design guidelines from group 9.4. They are cleaning up the UX. So I think many of the things they were doing were great. So we were focusing on two use cases: public galleries, so ways to improve the existing gallery page, and maybe to include some of the galleries on the current homepage. And we went a step further because we think that this gallery feature could be also used by creators and collectors in order to organize and showcase their collected items or their works. So, for example, this is the existing gallery page. We took this drop-down menu from other group, right? Because we liked what they did here. So in the gallery page, what we are proposing is at least to have like a preview of the gallery. So we think that it would make this more interesting and engaging for the users to click and navigate and see what those galleries have to offer. Then we think that maybe the same concept could be also applied to the home page, like having 2 or 1 galleries on top. So you see the feed comes here below, but maybe we could have like a feature artist gallery that could be automatically generated. And these are the curated galleries, like a selection of the existing galleries that can be, replaced every week, right? Yeah, to give visibility to creators. Then for profile galleries, we think we could apply the same concept here, right? As a creator, I would like to have a feature sections, organize my content in galleries, and the same applies to collectors. And Ath, you want to say something about some issues we have with the existing way to display galleries, right?
Yeah, sure. So we heard about the issue with the hicathon account, you know, and the secondary sales. So we just made a quick gallery using the current method, and it was loaded in an offline system. So it looks okay, but the problem is it's 616 objects, which means we're most likely going to have the API performance issue because for the API calls. So we're not sure if we can actually publish this live. But yeah, so really a call to help from Raphael or some of the devs, if you can help, because also we don't have GitHub access to upload it. But yeah, if you could just spend a few minutes with us just to go through it, it would be really helpful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Great stuff. So we have Willie, guys, for values, cores, and principles. He will be on audio only.
Hello, guys. Can everyone hear me? Fantastic. Okay, just a really quick one here. We've had a lot of people contribute to this, only really kicked off this morning. But we've created a central document that I've just listed in the chat there. You can have a look. It's basically a central point of kind of contributions for the core values. We've had lots of people adding to this so far. We've had, oh, share the screen, okay. Bear with me. How do I share the screen? Ah, there we go, I got it. Okay, so can we see this? So, as you can see, we've had lots of people contributing. We've got 20 odd people.
We cannot see the screen right now.
Oh, you can? Oh, okay. Bear with me. There. Is that better? So we have the manifesto here. We've got the top part is the suggestions for the sort of 10 key points of the manifesto that people can contribute to, and lots of people are contributing. As we speak, we have 20 odd people on the doc at the moment. And then down below, we have the notes section where everyone's got their own little section of their ideas on what the manifesto should include, including the original suggestions from Mario. So please, everyone, jump in on that and contribute and as much as you want, and then we can get some kind of crowdsourced core values manifesto together that represents everyone. Thanks, guys.
Great. Okay, so next up we have how to make decisions in a decentralized world with none of the less but Mario. Mario, hello.
Oh, yes, here we are. I'm not even sure if I should share my screen, but let's give it a try, because I have the boring task to talk about politics. Nobody likes that, but it's, well, it's kind of like part of what we try to do like during the whole weekend. Like, how do we actually manage to figure out what we want and who we are? And so in this group, we mostly discussed about kind of ways how we can approach a kind of democratic process in which everybody can contribute their ideas, which then will bubble up through the process and kind of in a democratic fashion eventually leads to decisions. So of course it should be based on DAO, but our problem is at the first thing that we do not really have anybody in the group who is capable of coding this stuff. So if anybody's really knowledgeable about this and still wants to join, please come. But let me quickly give you a rundown. So first of all, so there should be a place where everybody can contribute their concern, their new ideas in form of a proposal. And well, then this will be kind of a public forum where proposals can be staked upon. So if anybody thinks this is a valuable approach, you put in a few HDAO to support the idea. You stake in it. Now, once a proposal has reached a certain amount of HDAO, it will make it to the next step, which is kind of the voting process, which will happen at certain intervals. So like every week, every month, we have to figure out where people then can vote again with HDAO on these proposals. So now some proposals might be something that's easily kind of be done and don't need much money. Oh, I'm already 10 seconds. So they would kind of like, there is a budget for that governance, which where like, it doesn't need any further approval, but some decisions might need kind of more insight. So that's where the Treasury DAO comes in, where kind of there's the higher access level for elected people or delegated people who kind of have more power over financial decisions. And as a third thing, at least in the beginning, we will have kind of a oversight committee consisting out of trusted members of the community like Raphael and core developers who are kind of like judges, which in critical cases will have a word like saying, no, this is a change, like almost like a veto right. And over time, maybe this will be replaced by a vote or by something where like who gets actually into that final committee. A lot of things to figure out. One thing, so we are trying to use a tool called Homebase, which allows us to technically do that, but we ran into technical issues. So if somebody from Homebase is there, please come and help us to fix that error. We hope we get some prototype working. Okay, that's enough. Over time. See you there.
Thank you, Mario. Very important topic. So please go and support if we can. This is probably one of the biggest topics that we have for this hackathon. Next, we have verified users with jet lag tests.
Hello, can you guys hear me? One second. All right. So our group has been tasked with the verification process. This doesn't necessarily mean that the user has celebrity status or a big social media influence. It's just saying that they have a Twitter account or something to verify that they're a real user and not a bot. So this is the original design we've come up with, just for mock-up purposes. Of course, this isn't going to be the badge or the color style. But basically, any user that is verified would have some sort of icon beside their name and beside their name on their object posts. Right now, I think we're referencing tzprofiles.com as they have the most simple process. They only require a Twitter account verification and basic profile information, which is self-attested, as they say down here, which means you type the information in by yourself. And on top of that, the tweet for proof just shows that the Twitter account that you've submit has lined up with the account they're actually confirming. So they make you send a tweet. And that's about it. We're working on, I'm working on the graphics, and then the developers are just working on setting up a process to reference from the most simple site. And as someone mentioned in the chat, it's simple. That's what we're looking for. We don't want any crazy approach. Any way of making this process easy is the best way to go about it. Yeah, it could replace the current Baking Bad system. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. All right, I think I'm done. Anything else I missed? I think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Perfect. So next we have where do the fees go with 6AFT. You are up.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Excellent. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. So this is going to be, don't really have any screen share to share with you guys. This is more of a non-technical project. We're focused on explaining the 2.5% fees on Hen, and the final result will likely be a GitHub wiki page or PR for hicetnunc.xyz/fees. So so currently sorry, bear with me. So currently the fees are going to the hicetnunc lab 2000 whenever they're being processed. Currently the minting fees go towards maintaining the protocol. Rough estimates of server maintenance are currently about $1,500 US a month. That is based off of only 2 months of data. Future plans are including future maintenance of the protocol, creations of labs, the DAO, like we were just talking about with the governance, and with the DAO having the creation of labs and then rewarding labs with those funds. Having DAO input on future baking. So currently the funds, the 2.5% being held by the labs is being baked with Breaking Benjamin. So this would also open up the potential for us to either partner with either a Hen designed baking or having input on going to a more successful, insured, or more rewarding baking company. So it'll be nice getting to work with the governance protocol work group to be able to figure that out. Oh, and also it sounds like another thing on the pipeline is more aggressive distribution of HDAO with features. That was all that we were able to get. So it'll be interesting to hear more information on the plans for more aggressive distribution of HDAO with features. More things in the pipeline are high quality files, storage deals, better IPFS file sharing, potential investing into the Tezos infrastructure, potential for auctions, investing in tech and cultures, and then the potential for oracles. So this is still kind of loose. We need to pair up with a few other work groups to kind of have a more concrete understanding of where to go from here. But we do have a pretty solid game plan. So yeah, I think that's everything that I have for now. Thanks for having me, guys.
Great stuff. That's super. Maybe actually you can join forces with the working group of Mario, which I don't remember the name now, but that would be 5.4. Yes, amazing. Okay. So the next one is 2.1, object enhancement with Hampelman. You're up. Hampelman, are you there? Okay, if we don't have Hampelman, we can go to 5.3, by the community, for the community. Oh, we have you. Okay. Fabian, you're up. Great.
Okay, hello. Let me share my screen. There. So I'm in the smallest group. I'm on my own here, but thank you Tagachi for giving me some help. So there were 3 items, and I chose the last one to do unlockable content. I'm still in the research phase because yesterday I took the time to get known to the hicetnunc, because I'm a total hicetnunc rookie. So I had a look at the competitors, and so this is NST Showroom, and they have a
just a quick interruption. We don't see your screen.
Oh dear. Maybe it's because I've. Do you see it now?
Not yet. Just a second. It should be available to you in the top menu. top menu right, there's a small computer monitor.
Yeah, I already pressed that one. Yeah, there, entire screen share. Yeah, do you see it now?
No.
Well, okay. Then let me share the presentation, and I just finish my talk. So I'll share the presentation in the chat. So I had a look at what the competitors are doing, and for instance, NFT showroom, they have a text field only for unlockable content, and OpenSea they can add some markdown text, so you can add a link or something else. And I want to ask to the community a question: what can we do with hicetnunc? So do we want to copycat, or do we want to do something more spectacular? So let's say an extra bonus object for collectors that sold your object. So I made a little Twitter. A little Twitter poll for that, and I'll share the link to that in the chat as well.
Okay, Fabian, thank you so much. Please, yeah, really, you are our hero. Please share the poll that you made in the chat so we can share it in the general Discord and we can all go and vote. And if anybody wants to help Fabian in his working group, please do so. Fabian, can you share it in the main chat so it doesn't disappear? Thank you so much. Now we have By the Community for the Community with Quitter Arts Collective. You're up.
Hello, thanks for having me. I'm just looking for the share screen button on. Oh, there it is. Hold on. I apologize. So if you can point me in the right direction, it was supposed to be on the top right of the screen.
Yes, absolutely. Just let me check something.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be there.
All right, lovely. Oh, here it is. So just a quick presentation about the concepts that we discussed and the solutions that we were able to come up with. In short, the title of this is By the Community for the Community, Conceptualized Solutions for Facilitating Decentralized Trust. So we have a few problems that need to be solved. We have copy minting. Of course, we want to avoid the possibility of sharing illegal content on a decentralized platform. We want to encourage user safety and also to make sure that we keep up a good reputation and work legally. But also we want to ensure that we have our community guidelines met while also reducing any risk of censorship, because I think that's another core value. So we came up with a 3-tiered solution. In brief, we first have copy minting detection. Then our second solution is having a verification queue, which can be skipped if people have been verified. And solution 3 is just something that we're missing out on already, a report button. So in a little bit further detail, the first solution with the automatic detection can be done in a number of ways. Of course, pixel-based, we can use something similar to Google Lens, or create a thumbnail gallery of the images, which will take up a lot less space, and we'll be able to compare and contrast them. Similarly, there are things like the acoustic fingerprint technology that we could use for audio. And of course, for PDFs, you can do, if it's all majority text, you can compare and contrast the text. There are a number of functions and possibilities, but at this point, we haven't coded anything for our team. Solution 2 is once everything has gone through the initial phase of being checked, that can take a lot of time. So one way to reduce the strain on that system is to have perhaps what we would consider a community badge. So all objects would go through a moderation queue at first, through the AI or whatever process we use. But then if a user has gone through it 3 times and has had no issues, or if they have also validated themselves through Twitter or through another means, then they can skip that queue, reducing the burden on the system. But of course, not every system is foolproof, which gives us our last option, of course, a report button. One thing that would be really useful is perhaps incentivizing reports, sort of using a Crime Stoppers approach, as I've described it, where if someone reports a piece that eventually does get taken down for violating community standards, they could receive either a community badge for their participation in helping, or even some sort of bounty reward as well. And so, yeah, there's just a few things that we still need to do to improve on these ideas and this concept. We need more members of our team who know how to actually implement these ideas. And of course, collaborating with the other groups with things like core values. But that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Perfect. So now we have John. So we're closing the working groups. We have presented from most of them. There's a couple who have still not presented, but we might do it later on at the end of the hackathon. And now we have John, who is doing a quiz for us.
John, you have no mic.
Is it better now? Okay. Okay, thank you, everybody. So can you see my screen? Okay, let me know if you can. So I just would like you, if you can, to join with your mobile phone this URL called kahoot.it. So www.kahoot.it. I will post it also in the chat with your mobile, and then you just enter the pin. Oh, I can see some people joining already. Okay, so you can just do that. Let me explain just the story. I was chatting yesterday with someone quite boring, to be honest. First, he's French. He's a art critic in a traditional art world. So he was explaining me, okay, you geeks, basically, really pejorative way of saying that, don't know anything about real art. You have no culture, you have no feedback, you have no background. And I just wanted, to show him that he's wrong. So this is why I have created a small quiz. It's really fast. It will be not more than 3 minutes. A small quiz with, some references. I will just basically take some NFTs that are famous maybe from some of you. Not all of them come from hicetnunc, but, I'm not racist. And in the future, most of these artists will be also on hicetnunc. And basically, I've tried to make it easy. So we're sure, we have as much possible as possible that make it good. So I can see right now, I've been finishing my small introduction. So I can see we are, okay, okay, I give you 30 more seconds to join. And then we will start. I can see now we have like 57 people, 58. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We can see all the competitors right here, right now. And I believe it is time to start. Okay, basically, do you know your classic? Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. So let's start with something quite easy. Who is she? Mona Lisa, Lisa Minnelli, Lisa van der Prump, just Lisa. Okay, just for the copy, it's Slime Sunday artwork that you can find on OpenSea, for example. And the good answer is Mona Lisa. Oh, I can see there are a few people who answered the other question. Yeah, just Lisa. It can work also, or Lisa van der Prump. Like it. And so let's go next, and we can see that the faster Y was. It was you. Yeah. So Homework Punk. Congrats. You are the first one so far. Let's go for the next question. Where can you find this paint? So when can you find this paint? In Roma, in Vatican City, in Firenze, or in Siena? As you can see, the reference is the creator from Murat Pak. And so basically, it's the paint from Michelangelo. And we can see it in a famous church. And I think I say too much now. Hey, Vatican City. I know some people will tell me Roma and Vatican is the same, but it's not exactly the same. So it's basically, in the Chapel 16 that you can find this, the creator, this creator paints by Michelangelo. And wow, jet lag is booming right now, followed by 60 YFT. And we will go ahead right now. And, we can see that Efficio climbed 26 places. So let's go for the next question. Who is the original artist of this artwork? I can see that, who is it? Leonardo, Eugène Delacroix, Jean-François Heim, or Le Corbusier? Less easy, maybe. This paint, by the way, this NFT is the last stand of the nation state by Slime Sunday, if I'm not wrong. And so, it's really a real pastiche from the original artwork that is from Eugène Delacroix. You are good, I think, I feel good now. When I would see this guy tomorrow, I will show him that we can have good results. And jet lag stay the first one, but Joshua now is really, really, really near. And Diane, hey, Diane, she's part of the game. And I just wanted to say a big up to CEO, who just did 3 in a row. And now question number 4. Andy Rowell designed the cover of, by the way, Mario, it's from you. So sorry, GIF are not working on this platform, but I really recommend you to find this object, on Mario's profile. It's really nice. And so it was Nirvana, Velvet Underground, Pink Floyd, or the Rolling Stones. The Velvet Underground, of course, designed by Warhol for this, this famous album, that they launched in the, I will not say the year because I don't remember, but I will say 60s or something like this. And okay, the top 3 do not move. But CEO is coming now, and we have a combo breaker because 4 players just dropped their answer. Yeah, so streak of 3. Okay. Question number 5. What is the name of the original artwork? Love of Saint Teresa, Forgiveness of Saint Teresa, Murder of Saint Teresa, Ecstasy of Saint Teresa. So again, you can find this original sculpture somewhere in Italy, I guess in Roma, if I'm not wrong. And the name is Ecstasy, exactly, of Saint Teresa. Yeah, it was tricky. I played with the Forgiveness also because it's really Christian, we know that. And so Ecstasy of Saint Teresa, wow, jet lag, Joshua, Diane, they're really good. We can see that Quitters came in the game. Non-you are there also, and there are 9 players that have reached answer streak 3. Okay, it's almost the end. Question number 6. What is the name of the original artwork? Napoleon crossing the Alps. Napoleon loves unicorns. The Horse Whisperer. Or what if who's this guy? Sorry, I've been doing it quick. Sorry for the bad humor. And so you can see that the original artwork was made also by Eugène Delacroix. It was exactly about Napoleon. And the name was Napoleon crossing the... Wow, guys, are you checking Google? Or I'm really impressed right now when I did that. I like the two people who answered, what the fuck with this guy? I have no idea, to be honest. Oh, Joshua! Joshua, he took the first place, jet lag. It's time to wake up. Quitters took the third place. Non-you is the fourth. Rich came in the top 5. Okay, it's the money time. 2 more questions. 2 questions left. What is the name of the original artwork? Super Size Me, The Last Super, The First Super, The Second Super. So this artwork, you can find it, I think it's on, on Async Art, and many artists contributed. You know, you can recognize the style. Oh, it came too fast, but you know, you can see on Insync, the name of the artwork is The First Super on Async Art, and the original artwork was called The Last Super. The Last Super. I think we are good. I think we are good, and we are ready for the last question. Last question, that is a fast question. Are you ready? Oh, jet lag came back. Jet lag, you know, you are a rock. You know, so last question. Will jet lag stay the first one? Will Quitters become the first one? Will now Theo or Joshua come back? We'll see that now. Last question. Who painted the most famous Last Supper? Raffaello, Michelangelo, Leonardo, or Splinter? By the way, this artwork is done by Feo Shoes, and I don't remember the name of this artwork, but you can find it also on OpenSea. Leonardo did it. Yeah, it was not easy. You know, it's from the Renaissance. I like the 5 people, you know, who answered Splinter. Thank you very much. And I think we are done. So here we have the podium. Number 3, Young Matthewsell. Sorry for the pronunciation. Wow. And who's the first one? No, you, the second one, and the first one is jet lag. Congratulations. Congratulations to all of you. The runners-up are Rich and yeah, and that's it so far. So yeah, thank you to everybody. I can say that now we know our classics, and guys, yeah, for the other one, you know, I think, you know, I hope in hicetnunc we will have more hard rocks also that refers to our classic.
Great stuff. Super. So I think I will just pass it on before we close and go back to the working groups. I will pass it on to Raphael very quickly if he wants to share a couple of thoughts, and then we will go back to hacking. Hey, Raphael.
Hey, can you hear me? Are you hearing? Well, it was great to see some of the work groups what you have developed, and I was really surprised, like, on the collaboration contract. But yes, like, the idea is indeed development, like blockchain development, and also other sorts of knowledges, right, regarding arts, culture. Like, there is a song that says something like trash or like alienation in the culture. It's just constant alienation, just spoil things, you know, like. And we had a strange phase culturally, I believe, like in the last years and in social media and stuff. So actually, Web3 could help us experiment other ways of transmitting knowledge, you know. So so it's really interesting to see people not only educating themselves culturally, but also like educating themselves in a technological level, because so yes, like I really find it interesting to also help like using your network to have resources and bring more people to learn about blockchain, and as it is actually not as accessible knowledge, there is many prejudices also around it. So it's really interesting for us to build an ethical place for us to discuss this, So I really inspired with all of you, and let's always keep the discussions like open and horizontal, and hope to catch up at the end of the hackathon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. I think we have the huge emojis now, so that's great. We keep discovering things with oh yay, so that's super. A couple of thank you, Rafael. A couple of reminders. First of all, if you haven't completed the registration form, please do so and make sure, especially from the mentors and the helpers, that the teams and the working groups do. If anybody else is registering today, just make sure, joining today, just make sure you register all your info so that we can send out bounties and contributions. And let's get back to hacking, and we'll see you back here at 8 p.m. Central Time. So same as yesterday for the closing of the hackathon. So yeah, super. See you later, guys. Have fun.